So I sat down with Gavin Newsom yesterday. Now, do you live in California?
I don't anymore. So I fled along with hundreds of thousands of other Californians around 2020. COVID was the catalyst for a lot of people to leave California, but it was going to happen one way or the other. The trends were already in motion. California had become a place that was hostile to middle-class families. And my wife and I, we had started our family. Our oldest son was starting school, and we had to get out because this is not a place where you can raise a family on a middle-class income. And a lot of that, frankly, is because of some of the policies that either Gavin Newsom was responsible for authoring or enabling. And so this is something that I think, as Gavin Newsom very clearly seems to be making a play for 2028, a little bit, we have to remember what he did to the state of California. And despite everything he might say to try to pivot to the center and make peace with some of the radicals on his side, he ruined California in a lot of ways. And I think it's important for us to remember that.
How would you say he did that? I completely agree.
Well, so firstly, the proof is in the pudding. Okay, as I was saying, net out-migration from California really started to accelerate the moment Gavin Newsom came into office in 2019. You started to see hundreds of thousands of people flee the state, especially, again, middle-class families. And it's some combination of crime, homelessness. You have this kind of radical leftist cultural agenda that's infecting the schools and that was enabled by Gavin Newsom. And, you know, I don't know if it was brought up in your interview, but I would encourage people, for example, to look up AB 101. AB 101 was an education bill that got put before Newsom in 2020, which he signed, which mandates DEI education for all California high schoolers. Okay, a semester of DEI education for high schoolers. So all he might say about his sort of animosity or, you know, certain hesitation he might have about pursuing some of this DEI agenda, well, he didn't really act on that, okay? And he signed this bill into law, and now starting in 2024-25, this year, all high school kids have to take DEI classes. Okay, so you have homelessness, crime, you have the cultural degradation. You also have a state that doesn't work financially. Housing is incredibly expensive. Part of that is the demand for housing, but part of that are these onerous regulations that are imposed not just on business owners, but on anybody who wants to build anything. It's just a state that is hostile to people, to ordinary people. It's very friendly to criminals and homeless, okay? But it's hostile to ordinary people. It's also very nice if you're very wealthy. So you can find a nice strip along the beach, you know, all the way down the coast. It's very comfortable if you can afford that. But for ordinary people, it's just not a good place to live.
I think you'll get a kick out of this piece of tape here. This is about the University of California higher education system, the UC system. And Gavin Newsom, I say something, he doesn't even know what they're teaching. It's a little bit of a fun moment. Play cut 190. Also, half the kids that graduate college will not even end up using their degree.
That's true.
When it comes to the affiliated jobs. So the numbers are true at the highest income. So about 10% of kids that go to college stretch out the averages to be really, really high.
Got it.
And so, for example, you go to Caltech to study computer engineering and applied AI.
Next
man,
level.
You're crushing it, right? You go to Cal to go study North African lesbian poetry.
Yeah.
Like,
is that an actual degree there?
You tell me, Governor.
I don't know. I mean, we funded, but I'm not sure that's one of the courses.
See, the fact you don't know?
Well, I don't know every single damn course.
I know. It should be like, no way! But it's if the fact it's a maybe, we got some problems.
Well, the fact that, you know, a lot of people have explored different disciplines. Like,
That's fine. It's just the taxpayer shouldn't have to fund it. Your reaction to that?
You know, I think Gavin Newsom, first of all, what that reflects is he has no idea what's going on in his state, okay?
He like fell for it, like, is that a thing, you know?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a thing. So, you know, I have some experience with this. I taught in the UC system for 10 years. I was a lecturer in the English department at UC Irvine.
Wow.
I spent a lot of time with undergrads. And so I want to say a couple things here because I have some insight onto this as someone who was inside of it for a long time. You're right. There's a dichotomy. The 10% of the institution of higher ed in California, really anywhere across the country, is still doing really great stuff. They're producing knowledge. They are teaching kids how to work with technology that they're going to need for, successful and useful lives, useful careers. But the 90% of it is just a waste of time and money. These kids don't know anything. They don't learn anything. The professors don't care to teach them anything. The university has failed at its two basic functions, which is either to produce knowledge or to preserve knowledge. It no longer does either. And